Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, by now, you guys know Graham Platner has dropped out of the Senate race for Maine against Susan Collins. I want to talk about, though, not that specifically, but something very suspicious that appears to have been going on in the lead up to this. And this is coming from people who were very Platner skeptical. These were Platner skeptics, I guess you could call them. They were not fans of his. So this makes it even more credible. But it seems like there was some shady shit that was going down. And that's how this all came about. So I want to set this up for you before I play this first video, because about a month ago, Graham Platner was on MS Now. He was on Morning Joe with Joe and Mika. And Mika was just grilling him about all of the allegations up until that point. And she had made this, bizarre line of questioning about, oh, well, with your allegations and history, would you feel comfortable pushing for the Epstein files? And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, all of my relationships have been with adults. Like, I'm not accused of anything like that. So everybody was rightfully giving her shit for that. So it just shows like she is not a fan of his. She's like really reaching. So it was kind of surprising to me on Monday when they reported on Morning Joe about these new Graham Platner allegations of him assaulting an ex-girlfriend. So take a look. I just clipped out the parts of her interview with the journalist who broke the story in Politico. And I just broke out the pieces where she's like really going at him. And it shocked me. It really hit me like she's really now acting very skeptical of this new story. So take a look and then I'll explain why now this makes sense.
Question to you, given the very high standards Politico has before they write something like this and publish it, what aspects of this story brought it to the level of publishable? So what are some of those corroborating pieces of evidence? So you've got conversations with her therapist and people who she confided in. Any conversations with Graham Platner at the time of it where she said, because apparently as part of this story, she says she even confirmed to him that this was not consent. Do you have that? What do you have that actually connects this literally? Graham Platner to raping this victim. But were you able to see the interactions between Graham Platner and this alleged victim? Did you actually physically see them? Did she produce them for you? I'm going back to the decision to publish, and I'm curious what concrete evidence. You have conversations with therapists, conversation with friends, but what took this story beyond Graham Platner saying this was consensual, Jenny Racicot saying this was not consensual? But those are, what is the actual, is there evidence between her and him, evidence of a crime, because he's being accused of rape?
So as you hear there, like she continues, she's just dogged with it. Like, what is your evidence? Because the guy kept giving her, well, this is what she said. This is what, her messages said. This is what her, what she sent her therapist. And so Mika Brzezinski is acting very suspicious. And it just stunned me. It took me aback because I was like, this is not someone who likes Graham Platner at all. What is going on here? Well, I got my answer this morning because she and Joe and one of their co-hosts admitted that they have been hearing rumblings and they've been getting a lot of phone calls from people who were specifically targeting Graham Platner and were trying actively to take him down and get him off the ballot. So I have a few different clips to play for you. Take a listen to this first one.
Tell you without revealing any names that we have been bombarded by phone calls and text messages from people who want Graham Platner off the ballot, who are high up in Maine politics, and we've been getting that for the last 2 weeks. Meek and I have been scratching our heads for the last couple of weeks going, why are we getting all these calls about Graham Platner needing to be off the ballot?
73-year-old woman who is just
like constant calls.
What do you know? People calling them nonstop about this. And then their co-host that you saw there, Jonathan Lemire, he confirmed that he also has been hearing this. Take a listen.
And certainly, you're right. I received a lot of these same concerns. There was institutional opposition to Platner within the Democratic Party. Now, some of that is because they feared other scandals were coming, and obviously that ended up being correct. But there was more to it, and there really is a Washington feels very isolated from the rest of the Democratic Party throughout the rest of the country right now. And I think as Maine looks to replace Platner, they're going to have to be careful, to your point, because they risk losing some voters. That if they think that the next nominee is just sort of handpicked from D.C. or someone who doesn't resemble Platner at all, there's a chance Platner will lose some of that support when Susan Collins does appear vulnerable at a moment when Democrats at least look like they've got a real chance to have a wave this November.
What do you know? So Jonathan Lemire hearing the same thing. And then just to, round it off, here is Joe Scarborough again saying how unusual this is.
Nothing to do with the allegations and whether they're true or not. And again, that is something that, over time, people can sort through everything and figure it out. I will tell you, though, in all my years in politics, I have never once, when a candidate won a primary overwhelmingly, I've never once seen in a Senate race or a congressional race, I've never had people calling, I've never had people like 10 days, 2 weeks out, basically saying, we're going to try to get him off the ballot. We're like sending people up to Maine and basically we're going to go through all of Maine because we think there's more and we're going to find more. And we have 2 weeks or we have 10 days, we have 8 days to get him off the ballot. That's what they were saying before these allegations came out.
Yeah. So up until the last minute, you had the Democratic establishment pushing, scratching, sifting through, digging up, trying in any way possible to get Graham Platner off of this ticket, off of the ballot for the midterms. Why? Now, I'm not saying like Joe Scarborough said, it's not to say that these allegations aren't true, that this woman is lying. Although we have to admit the timing does seem very suspicious. And now you hear this and it makes you go, things that make you go, right? Like, is this another Bernie Sanders type of smear campaign? Is this just the establishment once again doing what they do because they're afraid of losing power and not being able to grift off of their insider trading and all of their sugar daddy donors? Is that what this is? Now, two things could be true at once. This woman could very well be telling the truth, and the Democratic Party could just be very well going, yeah, let's tank this guy. Because let's look at it this way. Nobody was out to get Eric Swalwell, right? The Democratic establishment wasn't tanking Eric Swalwell when allegations were coming out. It wasn't until there were videos and the public outcry was so massive that they were like, oh yeah, he should go. But there were rumblings. There were, from what I have heard and read, this was kind of a known secret with him. And nobody said a damn word. You know why? Because he was an establishment candidate. He was a bought and paid for corporate candidate. You can do whatever the hell you want if you're a corporate candidate, but you cannot put a foot out of line. You cannot have any skeletons in your closet if you are anti-establishment, if you are a progressive, if you are a DSA member. But if you want to toe the party line and be down the line, milk toast, vanilla, middle of the road Democrat who takes corporate cash and APAC money and does the bidding of their corporate masters and keeps the status quo, you can be the biggest scumbag in the world and you can do that. So anyway, there you go, guys. Like I said, two things could be true at once. This woman could very well be telling the truth, and it could be very convenient because Graham Platner, as we all know, wanted to stop funding to Israel. He wanted to stop giving them weapons. He wanted to make sure that there was no more insider trading. He wanted to make sure that everybody had health insurance. He wanted to make sure that the billionaires got their tax cuts, cut, removed, and that they paid their fair share. And yeah, they don't like that. I mean, all we have to do is look back to 2016, what they did to Bernie. We have to look back to 2020 and what they did to Bernie. I mean, all those phone calls made by Obama and Nancy Pelosi and the secret meetings that they held to get everybody else to drop out once they saw that Bernie was picking up steam and he was doing really well in 3 or 4 out of the first states. I mean, this is what they do. So, and again, I'm not even saying that he shouldn't drop out. I'm not saying that Graham Platner shouldn't drop out and should not run. I'm just saying that when the establishment puts their finger on the scale, there's a reason for it. And we should all be suspicious and we should all be against it. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.